What's up, everybody? Welcome back. And we are, I know you guys weren't expecting this, at least expecting us to be back until next year, but this is High and Hungry. I am here with a very special guest, the one and only Christina Wong. Welcome here to High and Hungry. Thank you so much for welcoming us in here. I want to say, how long has the Cypress Hill documentary been out?
That was in like March, April?
I remember being at that documentary release. Ray was there as well. And there was a lot of booths that were sampling food, and you had a booth in particular where I had, number one, for the people that watch High and Hungry, the Dr. Green Thumb show, you guys are very familiar that, you know, we use a stunning glass on the Dr. Green Thumb show. I had never seen, and number one, there's been a couple of things that I had never seen and I discovered on High and Hungry. The first one, I had seen a stundent being used as something else, was a Lock and Key Social Drinkery, which is Downey, a steakhouse. You could walk in there with shorts, was for an old fashioned. And the bartender there, I had never seen that done. And I was like, wow, this is thinking outside the box. And then you blow my mind.
Yeah, so the cookie of how we met at the Cypress Hill event. So I was at that party with Student Glass, these guys back here. I was there hanging out with them. They had asked me to come to that party and if I could make some desserts for them to smoke. And so I work with them, and they challenged me with making content for TikTok. So basically my assignment is I'm smoking anything but weed in the Student Glass and using it as a gravity smoker with this cloche here in the background. And basically the smoke pulls through and then we'll fill that dome and smoke the cookies. So these are smoked with lavender. So these are Earl Grey shortbread cookies, and they're smoked with lavender. So I've got lavender in my garden, and then I pick it and harvest it, dry it, I hang it in the back there to dry. And then I just use these, and then we'll put them in the Student Glass. Want me to show you to smoke it later?
First of all, like by the way, if I rolled a lavender joint for somebody, you wouldn't know. You would think it's just a purple weed till you smoked it. You know what I mean? I was looking, I was like, yo, what kind of weed is this? It looks really like Disney purple, you know, like very bright, or lavender pretty much, you know, like it is. And this is what the thing that helps you sleep in Bath and Body Works.
So this is like if you're smoking, and a lot of indicas, if you're looking for the terpene that's going to help you sleep, it's linalool. So linalool is the same terpene that's found in lavender, and so that's why, like if I were rolling, you know, a little bit of lavender herb in with my flower to roll a blunt or a joint, I would choose a strain that's higher in linalool, like a lavender afghu would have that, because it will help complement the natural linalool that's already in your flower to help promote better sleep.
So there is some truth to that.
Totally.
You know, the guy I get my weed from, his name is Martinez. Shout out to Martinez. He gave me, I got some of this DNA cake that is very, 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 very small boutique batch. By the way, everybody who's watching this is proper use. We've always wondered how, because Be Real will open this up and he'll be like, I didn't ask for this attachment. It's like, give me for the dabs or something like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, dude, some people like flour, bro. All right. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. Smoking lavender and some DNA cake.
That's good.
This is the first one.
Yeah, this is the compact, so it's the little one. It's kind of like, this is perfect for me. Like these big ones are just like, it's too much.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. If I ever was in a place where I can't really smoke, like it have to be low key, I would roll some lavender with that weed, like straight up. I would, cause it smells like what I imagine if you smoke Jamaica. Like hibiscus.
So thank you to the folks at Student Glass. I did a cool project for them too, for the Dr. Green Thumbs one, that green Student Glass.
Yes.
I did some cool, I did green matcha donuts that match the whole thing for a photo shoot and a video shoot with them. They are infused, so I did make them infused in each of the gingerbread. The little ones are 5 milligrams each, and then each one of these Botanical Bandit bars are 5 milligrams. And the recipe for this is actually in the December issue of High Times.
And I was gonna say that I was like, you have to subscribe to that, but you actually gave me a link that you guys can click right here. You know, this link right here, where it's like right in front of you guys. That link right here, you can click on it and find out the recipe to some of these cookies. And I mean this one.
Both of them, actually, yeah.
There you go. Because, you know, I don't just want you guys to get high and hungry. like while you're just watching this. I want you guys to get high and hungry and get busy at home. I figured I got to start getting ready to start getting my hands into some of these episodes and learning a thing or two as compared to just appreciating the food. I've always appreciated it for the sheer fact that, hey man, it takes a lot of work, but you know, I guess it just comes with age where you're just like, you know what, I kind of want to be a part of this.
It's also cost effective. Like you're saying your edibles tolerance is, you're at 1,000 milligrams to feel something?
Yeah, like to really feel like if I'm gonna, like, you know, everybody says, oh yeah, like my friend C-Minus, you know, shout out to C-Minus, he does High and Hungry with me as well. What is it? He was talking about how such a great time he had off like this 300 milligram edibles at Disneyland. He's like, yeah, oh, I feel it hitting. And I'm like, bro, I fucking judged the whole cup. And I felt like the Simon of all judges. Because I was like, weak shit, 100 milligrams, weak, this is garbage. We mixed a couple of them. And I wasn't literally writing that, but like in my head, I was like, why do I feel like I want to write mean things about every single thing? Because it's like, there's a cap.
For me, like, right, I'm good at 10 milligrams. That's my happy place. Like 1,000 would kill me. You know, or send me somewhere I don't want to be. Back to high school when I was 16.
It's the equivalent, to get it in perspective, because everybody knows I'm a very social drinker as well. It's the equivalent to like you having the choice where you know when your tolerance, you're seasoned to a good whiskey and you know how to, you know what you can tolerate. Why would you choose to spend all that money knowing how much it takes you for you to feel a good buzz when you can pregame it? You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's like.
Because you have such a high tolerance, if you know how to cook and bake with it at home, it's so much cheaper because you have flour and you surprisingly need very little flour to make enough and like a high concentration. Like I smoke more flour than I use for a whole batch of cookies.
I'm excited to see what we're gonna go ahead and get started in the process. Let's go ahead and get started. You know,
I'm gonna move this. All right, you want to decorate your own Botanical Bandit?
Yeah, is that the official name?
Yeah, so I call it a Botanical Bandit because have you ever been wheat pasting? Do you know what that is?
Wheat pasting?
Wheat pasting.
Oh, wheat pasting.
Yeah.
No, I have not. That
sounds
like something I would want to do.
So it's a style of like street art graffiti where people make like a paste out of wheat flour and water and a little bit of sugar, and then you basically use it like a glue, and you get the brush and you paint it, and then you stick your, you know, whatever your art or whatever your street arting, your posters, and then you paint over it. It's kind of like, remember decoupage when you were a kid? You got like no, wrong. Were you an art kid?
I was an art kid, but you know what was our art thing in the 90s, right? It was like watercolors and Crayolas.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But like there's this stuff called like Mod Podge, and like it's like you basically like paint, it's like you paint glue over paper and then it sticks. So that's what you're doing in the street art. So it's called wheat pasting. And so I was inspired by my friend. She's a street artist, lunch lady turned street artist, and she goes by the Velvet.
Lunch lady turned street artist.
Yeah, single mom lunch lady, and now she's like a street artist in Sonoma County.
That's a perfect example to everybody out there that always was so quick to say, hey, you can't do that. You were doing this for 10 years. Give a fuck if you were doing that shit for 20 years. If that's you feel that you want to take your life, it's possible, believe me.
This Botanical Bandit is named after my friend, the Velvet Bandit.
Shout out to you, the Velvet Bandit.
So you're gonna grab the brush and you're gonna dip it in there like paint, and then like find a little corner that like you wanna put this weed leaf. So these are my canvas leaves that I grew. I press my canvas leaves and my edible flowers between sheets of parchment paper between heavy books. So I'll use my cookbooks, and this way I have canvas leaves and decor to use year round. Yeah, feel like you don't have to be delicate. You can be like.
Oh, this is great. It's like what I imagine Bart's does with his barbecue.
Okay, and then.
Is this the appropriate amount?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you're just gonna use it like a glue, and then you're gonna put this on there wherever you want.
Damn. Oh damn. You know, this actually is pretty soothing. I can see how like somebody could just turn into like to cooking very much. Just like, hey, this is pretty therapeutic.
Right? All right, yeah, no, that looks good. Okay, so the next one are the flowers. So now we're gonna do the same thing. So I'm just gonna give you a handful of flowers and just like place them around. So these are pressed, the big ones are pansies and the little ones are violas. They smell really good. Nice. They don't really taste like.
I mean, I wasn't eating it anyways, but I just want to know what the actual.
Yeah, and then you just stick them on. So I grow these in my garden in the winter. So pansies and violas are cooler weather. They get burned when it's too hot. So I'll probably start growing these fairly soon here in California. And then I grow them all organic, and then I pick them and hand press them between sheets of parchment, between cookbooks, and then save them obsessively like this to make these Botanical Bandits.
Now, how long does it take you to actually make the whole body of the cake, like the cookie part?
That's like maybe like 40 minutes. That includes baking, because it bakes for 20 minutes or so.
Because once you take that first bite and like these actual cookies right here, you're gonna get hooked. You're gonna want espresso. You're gonna want an espresso martini. Like you're gonna want some kind of coffee to go with that. Unless you're that you want milk. But I would not. As an adult, I would go for coffee. Now what is the glaze I'm putting on?
So the glaze is just a powdered sugar with a little bit of hemp milk.
What? Yeah, I've had a hemp milk shake. Not as crazy as a regular shake, but
hemp milk kind of tastes nasty. I'm gonna be honest.
Does.
I actually have some that I use for it just has a bitter taste. Like I used it for I made a matcha as a Humboldt Fog latte. It was like a matcha and cannabis tea latte for Thrillist, and I was using the hemp milk, and it's like too much bitter. Like too many bitter flavors. Like I think it works well. Like, I love hemp milk. It's really healthy. It's really good for you, but it does have a bitter taste. If you're drinking it on your own, like it doesn't go well with coffee either. This flower was from one of the brands that was there. So this is Devi Cannabis. It's a grower in Humboldt, but they're fucking sick.
Yeah, that smells really good. Yeah,
like the two Indian growers in Humboldt hadn't met each other until like fairly recently, and then like they were hanging out at this event, and it's so cool to be able to meet each other and help support. And we did a Moon Festival one where we also had allies come and like different chefs come and cook, and it was just like there's mushrooms, there's all of the above, and it's just cool.
So you guys got
community.
You guys got to check out this side of that cannabis world that I'm trying to tiptoe more in and starting to see this. That's how me and you cross paths, and I'm like, this is my first time hearing about something like this.
So the next step is it's just gonna dry, and that's it. So we want to let it dry until all the glaze hardens. So it's gonna be like overnight, several hours.
Can you put that in the fridge?
You can, but it doesn't really change it. It's just you're waiting for like the moisture from that just to kind of soak in, and it'll harden like a crust, like Han Solo frozen in carbonite. And then it looks like it's under ice. That's what I love about it. And then when you cut it, there's a little glaze of sugar, that sugar icing to match with like a little like salty cookie, and it's beautiful. But let's grab the other ones and then we can smoke it.
All right, so now this is the actual the whole visual that got me when I first saw you, in your booth that was set up. This is what you were doing to the cookie. Yeah. Now we have the actual cookie dried up.
Yeah. So now this is the finished cookie. So you see how it's got that, like, it looks like ice and everything's blended in, and so that's wheat paste basically. So I call it sugar. I like to call it sugar pasting.
Now, I want to hold this up for the people in the camera. Look at that layer in there. All right, so it's nice and flaky at the bottom, but you still hold it together as like a solid unit. But what I want to say, it's like it looks like it's soft around like the middle part where it needs to be, and then that nice. It's not necessarily a crunch, but that break of the sugar adds like such a good thing. You can also drink this with black coffee and let the sugar melt in there, and then
dip
yes,
it.
then yes, like a little yes. Come on, this is the high and hungry thoughts coming through here.
I find that like with shortbreads, like when you think shortbread, you think like the Walkers, right? The Walkers, like your grandma shortbread.
First thing I think shortbread is like yes, I do think elderly people. What is it? But I also think I need something to drink ASAP.
So now you want to put the dome on top of it?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay. So this is a smoking cloche. To get that there. On studentglass.com, if you would like to use the code on my link, hook you up.
They most likely need that code because these motherfuckers love codes.
That's true. Hit me up and I will give you my code. This product is so cool. Like, it's basically a gravity bong, like when you put your liter bottles together. Like, this big one's a great one to share. Like, that little one, it's perfect for me, or like carrying and taking places.
This is what you want the car to look like. This is the smoke box looks like when we're inside.
We're hotboxing cookies.
This is the cookie box. the cookie smoke. We just gotta make like 2 gingerbread men, or 1 gingerbread B-Real at the smoke box, and the other one like a gingerbread B-Real.
You know what I made last year and I smoked? I made little meringue snowmen, and I smoked it in the little one for the beverages, and it was chronic snowman. That's
the kind of creativity that comes with it. Like I'm saying, like with Disney, when are you gonna get with it, man? You're gonna have to embrace the weed side at some point. And when you have to make these pastries, it might be old, but I'll be there. And I might only be able to have one, but I'll be there.
You ready to lift for the big reveal?
I want that smell.
You're gonna waft it a little when you open it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That smells very relaxing.
And it's like this toasted smoked lavender scent. And also, we should really open some windows. You should do this in a well-ventilated area. Smoke inhalation is hard for your eyes, as I've learned from making these videos for them. Also, don't ever use cayenne pepper in this.
Here it is. Cheers. After that first bite, and after I'm able to talk, right? So I feel like a dog that had peanut butter in his mouth. This is the perfect cookie you want to make in your household if you're gonna have your family over and they're accepting of smoking weed, if they're accepting of anything like that. If you have those cool cousins, cool uncles that want to go ahead and be like, yeah, they smoke a little bit of weed, and they do something 5 milligram recipe, this will be perfect for them to do something with it. You know what I'm saying? Like something to enjoy. They'll be like, oh, you know, grandma's gonna ask, she's like 90 something, be like, what kind of cookies are those? How come I can't have them? Be like, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, they're just not for you.
It's elevated, it's gorgeous. It's something that you can show your parents and your family and be proud and like, look at how beautiful this is.
We're making the one and only gingerbread people. Or, as I grew up calling Gingerbread Man. For some reason, all of them were men when I was a kid.
Can I tell you, I don't like the gingerbread cookie cutter that has the dress. That's for the gingerbread women. I don't like them. I don't know. I like them with the legs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. They don't get legs because they just come. It looks like a female bathroom sign. Like,
totally.
It's like,
I like eating the ones with the legs. That's really all it has to do.
So this is the final product here. And look, this is a sturdy cookie right here. This reminds me of the big circles they sell in the panaderia that I used to eat when you go to the panaderia, and they just make a big circle and you just dip it in coffee.
Conchas?
No, they're not conchas. They're just like flat, and it's kind of like made of the same thing.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
totally.
I adopted this one.
You're gonna eat it? Okay. You can eat it. That one's also 5 milligrams. A cookie. We need to roll some gingerbread cookie dough. So I made this earlier. It needs to sit and rest for about an hour in the fridge, because when I make it, you're using melted butter and molasses, so it's gonna be really soft. I had to wrap it, you put it in the fridge to chill, and that's really important too, because it lets all the flavors.
It looks like just like a big thing of dough. Just like fucking dough. Just like fudge. I'm sorry, it looks like fudge.
I like to roll my cookie doughs and my pie doughs between sheets of parchment paper because it prevents it from sticking and it just makes it easier.
I like wax.
Okay. So the trick is if you're cutting gingerbreads and they're sticky and you can't like lift it off the mat, you just put it in the fridge and then it chills and then you can move it around easier.
Kinda like wax.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Your rosin's too goopy, put it in the fridge.
I keep mine in the freezer.
Yeah, or in the freezer.
That's a really great way to bake too, actually just melting the hash and the rosin into any butter or oil. So actually I made brownies the other day and I did that. I just melted some butter and I melted some wax and rosin in the freezer into the oil and I dosed it that way.
It sounds very strong.
If I was making a dessert for you, that's how I would do it, because a concentrate has the most pure flavors of cannabis, so I'm able to pair that more with your dish and use that instead of getting that like chlorophyll, like plant taste that I would if I was just doing like a flowering. All right, I'm gonna let you roll the rest of it. So you're gonna roll it until it like is level with this.
It's like it's a big joint. Oh, man. There is some finesse to this.
And so this is my grandma's rolling pin. So it's not even a rolling pin, it's a sawed-off broom handle.
You know, that's the thing, man. Grandmas, they utilize everything, man.
It's like grandma love.
All right?
Yeah.
But,
And then...
see, this is the tedious stuff that I don't know that goes behind the scenes. It's like making tamales, bro. You can mess it up.
I just wrote an infused tamale recipe for Thrillist.
Oh, all right. See that branching on to different avenues right here. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm in like a Everest culinary art school like commercial where it's like I have a really nice teacher and then you got somebody that's like, yo, I made something out of myself.
What are you waiting for?
What are you waiting for? But because I've always wanted to do this. Like,
Yeah. Okay, you want to learn some tips?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a piping bag. So you can fill it with, this is with royal icing, and we're gonna decorate the gingerbread cookies. But like you take the top and you kind of pinch it between your thumb like that.
Okay.
And then you like twist it. So that you're gonna twist it shut. See it?
Okay, so it gets like a bowl.
Yeah. And then like you're gonna hold it like tight between your thumb and your like, you know, whatever that is. And then you kind of squeeze.
Of your hand.
Yeah, and then you kind of squeeze from the top. So like, depending if you're right-handed or left-handed, so you can like hold it and you can kind of like squeeze, or like, you know, whatever's comfortable. It's kind of like holding a weird pen, right? And then you just kind of decorate.
These are very thin lines, all right.
Yeah, so we have really thin round tips, and like to me, like do whatever you want to do. There's no rules. You can make whatever you want. Yo, you're way better at this than I am.
Oh!
That's so good.
I actually want to say I'm actually pretty proud of this one right here. This one's actually pretty fucking nice for like somebody being really high.
That's so good.
Oh!
Now you gotta eat it. Or you just make it, you gotta give it the gimpy leg.
Give it the broken leg.
Yeah, it's okay.
After many trials and tribulations, this is the best gingerbread people we can produce. I honestly say my best one would probably have to be this one right here, which I'm very proud of. You know what I'm saying? This
I
is
really like this one too.
the angry one.
Yeah, that one's really cute.
I had learned from like, you know, the multiple cartoons I've watched. I'm like, I know what an angry face looks like.
I feel like you have a really good creative streak. Like yours are like they have very different like expressions and personalities, and like there's a story. Like whereas I don't know what happened with mine.
This one's very faded. This one's on mushrooms. That one's on like antidepressants. Yeah, or antidepressants.
I found something different.
And I just made like this huge ass one, which I'm proud of too. That was the first one. I'm gonna probably interrogate him later.
Are we gonna taste test one?
Yeah.
Eat one?
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with the cutest one with the angry face.
I'm gonna eat this happy one.
Cheers to gingerbread people. This tastes just like the same bread that I mentioned. You get in the panaderia. Usually comes in like a cookie, flat out sugar cookie form. The icing does not taste artificial. You're right about it tasting very great. Being Latino, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, like, we have ponche, champurrado, we have coquito, and all this other kind of stuff that you can pair with these kind of snacks. This is the perfect cookie to go with that.
A nice hot chocolate. Ooh, we can make an infused hot chocolate with like all those chocolate bars from like dispensary.
This is like, with the hot chocolate, like I would do it with the abuelita hot chocolate with the old lady. That lady's for sure dead, right? Christina, like, you've guided us here, number one, with the recipe that you guys can find down there.
Well, I have a recipe for the gingerbreads too.
Which will be right here. And if you're not checking it right here, after the episode, you can check it down there. So make sure you guys look out for that. Only thing now is I wish I had like a stout. You know what I mean? Like a nice dark coffee stout. Oh, and the video officially went viral right now, right? The video officially went viral right now because we now have a cat on the premises. Shout out to Muffin. Oh, with their little pouch. But yeah, so what is it? Where can they follow you at?
I'm Fruit and Flower on Instagram, and that's the best place to find me.
Fruit and Flower on Instagram. Make sure you guys check out her recipes. Honestly, she does a lot of stuff that people like me, and I know people like you, look at it and you're like, wow. You're like, I wish I could make something like that. You actually can if you get your hands on and actually try doing it. This is as far as I've gone with like trying to do something traditional for the holidays, and I'm glad you guys were able to witness it.
Yeah, if you want to learn how to cook and bake with cannabis, I mean, it's not hard. I only learned how to start doing this a few years ago, and it felt so difficult, and that's why I do what I do now. And if you subscribe to my newsletter, I have a Substack, and I do a weekly email newsletter where I do recipes that provides instructions with the infused amounts, and then also teaches you how to cook and bake with weed. So you can learn, save some money. Like, that's huge if you want to make your own edibles at home.
Yep, and I mean, once you're done baking, you can continue to bake yourself, get a little high, then get a little hungry, and eat what you made with your family and your loved ones. You know, we want to, you know, as a part of High and Hungry and the whole team here, we want to wish you a very happy holidays for you guys here. We want to make this little special thing. Tag us, let us know. Let us know what you think about the recipes. We wanted to go with something simple. Maybe somewhere along the line next year, in a different setting, we make fucking Christmas dinner. But today, we know it one step at a time with you stoners. We barely get in. We see how you guys are when you guys get too high at a Cypress Hill show. You know what I'm saying? I was like, we got to take it one step at a time, or at any show. You guys are always a little bit too faded. But nonetheless, thank you for following, High and Hungry TV. Make sure you guys subscribe, hit that thumbs up for all the merch. Anything from the candles to the hats, everything is limited. HighAndHungry.shop. We do have a newsletter there that allows you to get access to discounts and stuff. Yeah, and I'll see you guys on the We Don't Smoke the Same podcast every other day that I'm not there. Thank you so much, Christina. This has been a lot of fun. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, hit that share. Make sure you share those clips. It helps us. And it costs you nothing. It means everything to us. And like I said, I'll see you guys on the website. Till next time. Till next year.